Hi there, it's Kevin with Roguedeckbuilder.com here with an updated list for Born of the Gods. Not too many additions that I'm going to add to the Immortals of the Forge deck, but there is a very, very key card that has been testing quite well, and I think it's definitely worth the inclusion. And it also is going to spawn a totally different type of deck. This, of course, is going to be a Haste version. The next one I'm going to build is going to be more of a green heavy version that uses more Gatekeeper Vines and Deadly Recluse's main board. This one's kind of a hybrid between the two. Of course, I'm using the efficient haste creatures that I had before. So it's going to be the same creature combination of the hasters of the Ash Zealots, the Spike Jesters, and the Rakdos Shred Freaks. And so we do want to get in there for the early bit of damage that we can. And then from there, it's going to be comboing off of Perforos and then all these hasters come into play and attack for us to get the win. But the additions that I've made to this deck are going to be, I've taken out Grizzly Salvage completely and added some lands because of that, because we are not going to be relying on Grizzly Salvage to find us the lands. So I've added one Golgari Guildgate, one Rakdos Guildgate, Forest, Swamp, and Forest, and then the 4 Temple of Malices, and cut down on like Stomping Grounds and some of the other guild gates, as the Temple of Malices are just better than the guild gates, of course. And we've got 2 Gatekeeper Vines, and Gatekeeper Vines will find us, hopefully, it can find anything but a red source, but this deck isn't very red dependent. All it needs is 1 red, really, to work. I mean, Ash Zealots are kind of 2 red, but we don't have to have Ash Zealots out, so what we're relying on is just 1 red, which the Gatekeeper Vine can go find a Rakdos Guildgate, is what it can find. And if not, I still, with testing, I'd never wanted to see a basic mountain. And so this deck is a little more green heavy than it used to be, so we do want to see more forests, as the forest can actually get us the Community of the Gods, the Satyr Wayfinders, and the Gatekeeper Vines. And I'm trying to figure out if this last forest should be another swamp, as we still need to hit the 3 swamps for Immortal Servitude. But again, the black, we only really need 1 black other than the Immortal Servitude, and hopefully we'll have time to find that. So the deck does fix itself quite well, though. So I think that all the colors are pretty even, but having more Overgrown Tombs and Blood Crypts and Stomping Grounds, I think we're already a little bit black heavy, and can easily cast our 3 Immortal Servitude. So another deck that I'm also going to be working on is a Naya version of this. I like Naya because you have access to some pretty amazing cards in the Voice of Resurgence that leaves a token behind after it dies, and also the Lion, Fleecemane Lion. This is a 3/3 for 2, which I think is quite powerful. And then also you have some pretty cool cards in the white with the 3/1s. You have the one that players can only draw 1 card per turn, which I think is actually pertinent in Standard. But if nothing else, it's a 3/1 aggressive draw, and there's just tons of white cards that are definitely worth considering for this Immortal Servitude white version. And of course, it won't use black. The problem with what I like about black, though, is Timerit is such a workhorse in this deck, as it gives you an alternate win condition with the Burning Emissaries. The other version I'm going to be running is going to have, instead of like the haste creatures, it's going to have Satyr Wayfinder, or not Satyr Wayfinder, the Satyr. It's the Satyr that sacrifices 1 red. It basically Dark Rituals, but for red, and then that way you can generate a ton of mana between Burning Emissaries and those, and actually combo off with Timerit is what I'm thinking. We'll play a full set of like Gatekeeper Vines and whatnot, and Deadly Recluses. So I'll have to show you guys that version later. Again, this is not legal yet, so we can't even play this yet. I'm just showing you the new cards. Barely came out today with this latest patch. Sideboard, I've got Abrupt Decays, Dreadbores, Putrefies in the sideboard for any decks that we have to get rid of creatures, and then Magma Jets to help us early stabilize and help us find our combo. But the gist of the deck is mainly the exact same. I have added some kind of Deadly Recluses to give us kind of some early ways to deal with aggro. One of my hardest matchups was aggro. This deck is very good against mid-range, is very good against control, but it was terrible versus aggro. So we have this aggro package that we can turn into just kind of a Jund control type deck, post-sideboard versus the aggro. So anyway, that is basically it. I'm really looking forward to testing these Satyr Wayfinders out even more. This is really, really good card, though, because you get a creature that draws basically a card, which you do want a land. That is exactly why I like the Grizzly Salvage over the Community of the Gods. Community of the Gods can find Mr. Perforos, and that's why I do. Well, I guess Grizzly Salvage could find it too. So, oh yeah, the Community of the Gods are in here because I was testing it, and it doesn't. Grizzly Salvage doesn't work with Burning Tree Emissary, and that was huge. So I wanted Commune with the Gods over Grizzly Salvage, even though Grizzly Salvage does find us a land, which is huge a lot of times in this deck, because you want the creatures to go to the graveyard and not the land. But I was thinking that the Commune just works out a little bit better just because it combos with Burning Tree. Again, that is subject to change if Grizzly Salvage ends up being better. But with all these comes into play tap lands, we have a total of, and a lot of times you're going to be wanting to, these shock lands that come into play tapped. It's going to be 4, 8, 9, 10. We have 10 comes into play tap lands and 10 shock lands. So between those, I really don't see us Grizzly salvaging on turn 2 that often. So anyway, this has been Ken with Roguedeckbuilder.com. Definitely looking forward to your suggestions. Thanks for watching.